Good morning, buenos dias. I hope you are well, staying positive and focused on what you can control. My name is Patricia Mota. I'm serving as President and CEO of HACE, the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement, national nonprofit whose mission is to positively impact workplaces by cultivating the pipeline of talent, providing insight, access, and support so that they are successful in their careers. A quick note on behalf of the ASE Familia that our thoughts and prayers are with the families of the 11 victims of the Monterey Park mass shooting and all of the victims of senseless violence. Quick announcements before we get started with our special guest today. And to all of you that are tuning in, welcome to the fourth season. Believe it or not, this is the fourth season of Cafecito con HACE. We have a lot of great speakers, great things lined up for you this year. If you are a return Cafecito con HACE, welcome back. If you are new, welcome to the HACE Familia. We're excited to announce a few key things, and one of them is our theme for the year, which we ask you to stay tuned because we'll have a special announcement in the coming week, but we're also inviting you to join us live at the Super Bowl week in partnership with the NFL on Tuesday, February 7th. We'll drop the link for you to register to get more information, to know what link to join us so you can hear the conversation, but most importantly, learn how you can engage with us with this theme for the year. And another key thing that's great, big news for us is that we have invited and brought on board new board members, and they were announced at the end of last year, but we'll also be sharing the link of who these individuals are, get to know who they are. They'll join us throughout the year with cafecitos and various events. And here to really help us launch the year with her new role is our new national board chair, incoming national board chair, Alina Moran, who is also the president at Dignity Health California. Welcome, Alina. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Patricia. Thank you for asking.
Wonderful. Alina, we're so thrilled to have you join us, especially with your background, your experience. And so as everyone who's joined us before knows the drill, and those of you that are new, we want to hear from you in the chat about your cafecito. That's the question that we like to start off with our guests. And Alina, to you and to everyone joining us, how do you like your cafecito prepared, or your morning beverage of choice?
No, thank you. Yeah, so my cafecito, I'm using my Ate Cafecito cup. So typically I like my coffee with just a little bit of milk or cream, just to help me start off my day. And that is my beverage of choice because I do need that caffeine to get me started.
Wait, and I am with you with that, especially I'm in Chicago, Alina. We've got a snowy day today, and I think it's going to be falling all day. And so with these types of days, I probably have a little more cups of coffee throughout the day to keep me going. Alina, so tell us more about who you are, your cultural background, and how you got to your current career today.
No, thank you. So for me, my parents immigrated here from Puerto Rico. So that is kind of near and dear to me. Growing up, they always instilled in me this real purpose around education and service. And so as I was thinking about my career path, I thought about kind of what are the things that I wanted to do. So I did, as an undergrad, study mechanical engineering. But I realized that that really wasn't my passion. And so I went back to school, got my master's in public administration, and began my healthcare career. One of the things that I love, and I'm very thankful to my sponsors and mentors, is the ability to kind of elevate and move us forward in terms of this process. And that's why I'm so passionate about the work that ASE does, because that's really what we're trying to do on a national scale. And so now I'm currently the president of Dignity Health California Hospital Medical Center. I've been in the healthcare field over 25 years now, and really, am very passionate about health equity, making sure that when my parents got here, they had very limited access to insurance and to healthcare. And so I want to make sure that each and every day we're really creating an opportunity for any patient, regardless of their circumstances, their immigration status, their income, that they have access to healthcare. To me, healthcare is a human right. And so that is kind of what I'm passionate about and why I continue to do the work that we do. And I'm thankful that I have a team of caregivers that are equally committed to this mission. And so it, makes me proud every day to come to work.
Wonderful. Thank you, Garrett. We see great comments coming in the comment section. Continue to engage and also leverage this as an opportunity to network amongst one another. This is a conversation. Enjoy your cafecito or whatever you're sipping on this morning or afternoon, depending on where you're tuning in from. Alina, we have so many Puerto Ricanos involved with HACE. And so now we have a Puerto Riqueña who's leading us as our national board chair. You are in California, but you are originally from New York and the Bronx, right? So I know we have a lot of folks representing the Bronx, so let's hear it in the chat. You also talked about something that I hear a lot from our students, right? In terms of what you majored in and then the shift that you had. So Alina studying mechanical engineering and now being a leader in the health space, the health equity space. I think it's critical to share stories like yours, right? Because we may have students that are tuning in and we've heard it through the asset programs that perhaps are studying a certain field, but then are interested in something else. And so know that you do have the opportunity to pivot and you have resources to be able to do that. You talked about your sponsors and your mentors, whether you connect with them at your current organization or through HACE. It's about asking, right, for that support and sharing your dreams and aspirations. So lots of creating nuggets there. Most importantly, Alina, here you've been a part of the HACE Familia, but you're joining in this specific role. Welcome, welcome. Tell us about how you first got involved and what are you most looking forward to for 2023?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I began with HACE through our advisory council. So I had the opportunity to kind of hear the wonderful work that was going on both locally and also nationally. I also served as a speaker for our Mujeres de HACE program as well in New York. So I was very passionate and excited about that work. And now I'm even more honored and humbled to be able to serve as the incoming national board chair. To me, it's a great responsibility, but it's what I'm passionate about. So as I mentioned, mentorship, sponsorship, those things are so important. I think it's important for Latinos to realize that, I'm a first generation Latina. So this is a thing that, our current students are going through. And I resonated a lot when I served as a speaker with Mujeres de HACE program, because there was a lot of opportunities to kind of share our own personal stories and struggles, because things aren't always easy. But the fact that we have a support system like HACE to be able to assist us as we move through our cycle of life, right? Because we begin as students, then we're, early careerists, and then we're mid-year careerists, and then we're in a senior position. And HACE has programs and opportunities that help us to kind of deal and manage that life cycle in a way that makes us successful. And as we know, the majority of the United States is leaning towards the Hispanic and Latinx community. And so I think it's even more important for organizations to realize how important it is to have a perspective and have the right individuals to have those conversations. So I'm excited. I'm honored. I thank Olga, who was the chair and has decided to stay with us as chair emeritus because of her passion and her love for the organization. And I think I'm hopeful for the fact that we have so many things that we're planning, from our strategic planning efforts to really thinking about ways that we can think about our growth, thinking about how we're moving globally. I know you just came back from your trip to Davos. So all those things are so exciting to me.
Absolutely. And yes, a global footprint, especially since we've gone virtual, an e-learning platform with a lot of our programs. We have alumni across various countries. And so whether you're joining us in person, whether you're joining us virtually, there's a place for you to be able to engage. And Alina, I think it's so critical that when we talk about board governance and Olga's tenure, you coming on board, the new board members, why that's so critical to have more Latinos represented in those roles, whether it's HACE, other nonprofits, but most importantly, that are sharing their background and their experience. I think, the other key thing, I want to ask you one more question, but I do want to open it up to questions. So let me say that out loud for those of you that are joining us. If you have any questions for Alina, or regarding ASA in general, please feel free to post them in the comment section. If you know someone that should be involved or know about ASA, please tag them, include them in the comment section, or send them the link to engage. Again, we are here to help folks not only succeed professionally, thrive personally, but have that community, that support network to help you along the way as well. And so going back to the board governance piece, like we also have auxiliary boards across the nation that are supporting us. We have a national leadership council, and these are all initiatives that if you're not involved already and you're looking to serve on a board at some point in time, it's great to be involved. But there's a key distinction, I think, that is critical to understand when it comes to board governance and ASIS, for example, National Board of Directors. Alina, do you want to share any or shed light or anything like that with all your experience on serving on governing boards?
No, absolutely. So I think, one of the things that I always emphasize is that leadership really comes from those opportunities that you jump into, right? And so, I always encourage, especially young leaders, to get involved in their, distinct organizations, join a committee, participate in something outside of your comfort zone so that way you can build that resume. So for me, I've participated in a lot of leadership. Primarily, one of the biggest things that I learned in terms of was participating in my sororities, leadership and national governance structure, right? So from serving on college as the president of our chapter to becoming part of the alumni board to then becoming part of the National Board of Trustees, that was my first entree, right? So Sigma Lambda Upsilon, Señoritas Latinas Unidas sorority, that was my first opportunity to serve as a leader, right, in that capacity. And that helped to kind of bridge other opportunities, right? Whether that was working for local nonprofits that I was passionate about. So I worked with a scholarship fund. I worked with a mentoring organization. Then I became a board of trustees of a college. I participate now. I'm on the executive committee of our hospital association here in California. So those are all opportunities, whether it's related to your career or to something that you're passionate about, or just becoming part of something within your college structure. Those are all opportunities to become a leader, to get that skill set, and then transfer it to help you in terms of your career or future board governance. So I think those are all kind of opportunities that help you to be successful.
Thank you for sharing those examples. And since you are a fellow hermana of the organization, shout out to the hermanas that are maybe tuning in and also supporting. And I love, the example that you shared in terms of being involved from whether you're a student as you're starting your career earlier on, and how those opportunities really build upon one another. One great question that we get all the time, whether it's any of our programs or sessions, and I know you've heard it before, and you mentioned about your own personal experience, because I think it's so critical for your career trajectory to have key mentors and sponsors. So the one question I'm sure you've been asked several times before we have at us is, how do you secure that mentor? Or how do you secure that sponsor? But then most importantly, what I think the key thing is understanding the difference between the two, and how to go about that. What would you say?
Yeah, so I think that's a great question, and I'm very passionate about mentorship and sponsorship. So to me, the key difference between being a mentor and being a sponsor is that a mentor really is kind of providing you with advice, but a sponsor is really bringing your name to the table where you may not be at the table, to really elevate you from your career and your passion and open those doors for you that you didn't even think you wanted open, right? And so for me, I've had I create my own personal board of directors that I call kind of my advisory council. And so I've had mentors from, as a college professor, served as a mentor, someone that I admired, opportunities to look at mentorship within your own organization. So someone that you want to, kind of resonate to or feel comfortable with. But I think the best opportunity is around networking, right? You never know the opportunity that you're going to have. So when you go to an event and you meet someone, the opportunity to then follow up with that person, connect with that person, using LinkedIn, social media now is another great opportunity to do that networking. But it's really about asking the question, right? Most individuals like myself, when they get asked, can I have a 15-minute interview with you to understand your career, how you got to where you are. Those are opportunities to learn and then develop those partnerships and relationships with those mentors. But for me, that personal board of directors was the key to my own success, because I realized that as I've gone through my career, that I need different people at the table, right? And I need different support. And so whether that's someone that is kind of providing me with guidance as what, the difference of being a women leader before versus a man leader, whether it's something related to governance, whether it's something related to just being passionate about a particular thing. I think people tend to gravitate to others that have
Mm-hmm.
similar thought processes and are similar thought leaders. And so for me, that's the key. It's really around networking. It's around, being open and asking the question, right? So sometimes you have to get out of your comfort zone, right? You may approach someone and you may think, well, how do I even engage in the conversation? But a lot of individuals are willing to share how they got to where they are, what they're passionate about. And I think it's just as simple as asking the question and just taking a
Yeah,
little bit.
I love that. I think you hear, and Alex, I know that there's some other comments, talking about the critical importance, the importance of personal board of directors. And so you mentioned that, and having that group of individuals that are subject matter experts, perhaps in specific areas that you may not be, or that can add to the areas that you are, to get that additional input and insight, which is super helpful, and something that I've also truly believed in along my own career trajectory. And then the other key thing that really stood out, Alina, I think that sometimes we're afraid to ask or to reach out because a certain individual or may have a certain title, but it simply is saying, do you have 15 minutes? Do you have time for a cafecito? Maybe we could do virtual. More often than not, like Alina mentioned, that she says yes to those things. The folks will say yes, right, and they're open to have that conversation, especially right because we want to make sure that we're helping folks get into and have a good representation of folks in positions of power and influence that's needed more than ever before. And then, mi gente, if you're Hispanic, Latinx, Latine, or you're an ally, we need you this year more than ever. As Alina mentioned earlier, ASE was represented, Hispanics were represented at the World Economic Forum, thanks to Hispanic Star, the We Are All Human Foundation, our good friend Claudia Romo Edelman and team over there. And it's a global imperative. Latinos are We were a country, the fifth largest economy in terms of GDP. And so it is imperative that we are including the community as it pertains to workforce decisions, hiring, advancement, and especially into key positions. And so critical need. And so if you're representing an employer partner and an employer and not working with ASE, make sure that you're reaching out to our partners, reaching out to ASE. We'll drop additional information in the comment section so that you can engage, but most especially tune in. So Alina and I and other board members will be in person in Phoenix at Super Bowl week, announcing the theme at our first kickoff for the Executive Leadership Tour. We have Javier Loya, who is a minority owner of the Houston Texans as well. Christina Culberson, who is the senior vice president at NBC Universal Telemundo, that's joining us, and other great leaders that will be there for that conversation. So if you're not in person, we will offer the live stream option. Okay. So we're going to wrap up. We again continue to network in the chat, engage with one another. We like to end on this has been a fairly positive conversation, but a positive note in terms of, Alina, your perspective in terms of what are you most hopeful for this year?
Well, I would just say what I'm most hopeful for is two things. One is continuing to kind of elevate the conversation, serving as the ASE board chair, really having the opportunity to participate in some of these tours, participate with the other fellow board members in our strategic planning process to really determine the next strategic direction for the organization. And then on a professional level, I'm really hopeful for the work that we're doing here at our hospital. I think one of the things that we're challenged as, being a safety net hospital in downtown Los Angeles is really our patient population, really working with kind of the underserved, understanding the unhoused, and really continuing to make an impact in our community. And so as I think about, our caregivers and all the things that they've gone through the pandemic, I'm hoping that, this year, 2023, as we celebrate the year of the rabbit, that it will bring prosperity and happiness and really a great opportunity for us to grow and continue to serve our community in downtown Los Angeles.
I love it. It is the year of the rabbit, so happy Lunar Year as well to all those celebrating. Alina, thank you for your time. We're excited for a prosperous, inspiring year with you all, and to all of you joining us. Hasta la próxima. Until next time. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.